I'm here to talk to you today about a war that we're currently in that you may not have even noticed. A war that's being waged today within our homes, within our communities, within our businesses, within our nation. That war is a war against Christians. It's a silent holy war that is right now happening in the very streets and towns that we live in. It's been said that history repeats itself, and unless we learn from it, we're bound to repeat those mistakes. In America today, you're free to be a Christian as long as you don't actually live out your faith or take a stand in relation to your faith or try and get others to embrace your faith. We see a government that is allowing the minority of people to dictate religious freedoms to the majority. And unless we Christians unite, those persecutions are going to get worse. We're going to look at a few quotes that I believe are very eerily similar to one another, and we're going to see what God has to say about those same quotes. The first thing we're going to look at is when tolerance triumphs over Christianity. Adolf Hitler once said, "Our epoch will certainly see the end of the disease of Christianity. It will last another 100 years, 200 years perhaps. My regret will have been that I couldn't, like whoever the prophet was, behold the promised land from afar. We are entering into a conception of the world that will be a sunny era, an era of tolerance." The tolerance Adolf Hitler is speaking of is a tolerance of his worldview and no other. Barack Obama has been quoted as saying, "I'm a big believer in tolerance. I think that religion at its best comes with a big dose of doubt." Our president is a big believer in tolerance. In fact, his next line says he thinks that religion at its best comes with a big dose of doubt. Listen, religion by its very nature is about faith. And faith leaves no room for doubt. When we have faith, there is no doubt about our religion. There is no doubt about the tenets of our religion. So I'm not really sure what Barack Obama is trying to say. Jesus Christ says this, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." So any leaders, any president who speaks about tolerance and talks about how we need to be tolerant of other religions and we need to be tolerant of other beliefs and goes on to espouse doctrines from Islam or other religions, but then turns around and puts down Christianity and every chance he gets is not preaching tolerance. And Jesus Christ tells us that he's the way, the truth, and the life. We as Christians need to understand this. The second thing we need to look at is when socialism triumphs over Christianity. Adolf Hitler once again said, "We'll see to it that the churches cannot spread abroad teachings in conflict with the interests of the state. We shall continue to preach the doctrine of National Socialism, and the young will no longer be taught anything but the truth." The only truth that the young is being taught under Adolf Hitler's system was that the goods will be taken from the poor and given to the army. Barack Obama has stated, "I think the trick to figuring out how do we structure government systems that pool resources and hence facilitate some redistribution, because I actually believe in redistribution. It's a socialist concept." He's telling us that he believes that we need to take from those who earn and give to those who do not. Listen, I'm not against helping the poor. I'm not against helping to lift people up whenever they're fallen. But this isn't what he's preaching. It's not what Adolf Hitler was preaching. He's preaching to give from those who work and give to those who do not. Once again, we'll turn to Scripture and see what Jesus Christ has to say. Jesus Christ says, "For even when we were with you, we would give you this command: if anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. There is a very clear distinction in the Bible that we need to be willing to work for the things that we need, the things that we want. And if you're not doing that, then you do not deserve to eat. We do not take from those who work and those who struggle to earn what they have and give to those who are lazy and feel entitled. The third thing we want to look at is when government triumphs over Christianity. We have seen in the past 5 to 10 years bakeries that are forced to close their doors because they've refused to serve cakes to same-sex couples. We've seen wedding photographers sued for not shooting weddings of same-sex couples. County clerks in trouble for refusing to issue licenses to same-sex couples. We've seen the military, our American military, banning the Bible, firing leaders who leave copies laying on desks. There are stories of chaplains who are being told in our American military what parts of the Bible they can and cannot tell soldiers. There is a war going on, and we need to wake up as Christians, and we need to see what's going on. I ran across an interesting quote by Baroness Saida Warsaw, a British cabinet minister, and she visited the Vatican, and this is what she told them. She said she has a fear about the marginalization of religion, and specifically Christianity, throughout Britain and Europe. My fear today is that a militant secularization is taking hold of our societies. One of the most worrying aspects about this militant secularization is that at its core and in its instincts, it is deeply intolerant. It demonstrates similar traits to totalitarian regimes, denying people the right to a religious identity. You cannot extract Christian foundations from the evolution of our nations any more than you can erase the spires from our landscapes. You may think, so what? She's just another right-wing Christian nut. But listen, Baroness Saida Warsaw is a Muslim woman. There is a war going on, a very real war. Governments are trying to wipe out every trace of Christianity. Our president is a part of that. We have other political leaders who are part of that. It's so important for us as Christians to make sure that we're informed, to be willing to stand up against this sort of injustice. Today we looked at very few ways that American Christians are under attack. And if you're willing to Google it and take some time to look at it, you're going to see a lot of other ways that American Christians are coming under attack in current times. It's my hope that if you're a Christian, you'll begin to wake up. You'll begin to realize that our religious freedoms will only remain that way if we take a stand and fight for them. Every great injustice that's ever been committed in this world has started with little injustices. We cannot afford to stand aside and let these things continue. I hope that with the knowledge you've gained from this speech, that you'll continue to seek out the truth of what's happening in our country. And I hope that you find the courage to stand firm on God's word when persecution comes. Thank you.